I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
The buzz is here.
The buzz is here.
We're the buzz.
I think we're the buzz.
We could buzz your hair and then you would lose your money.
No, never.
Put your head down so they can see.
Yeah, I'm really falling in love with this.
It's not about food, guys, but you can't even see it probably. Man,
maybe you can, hopefully, we'll see.
Hi, guys. We're the Gordons.
Oh, hey.
Top Chef, All Stars, Episode 4, Season 17. Welcome. Let's get a little taste of the Gordons. This is Dave. He's on cloud 9 because for the first time ever, we've actually eaten all of our perishable groceries. Thank you, quarantine.
We timed it perfectly.
I know.
And this is Anne. Speaking of groceries, she's eaten 4 months worth of potatoes. I counted and measured in 4 days.
I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, so that was cool.
2 kinds of potatoes.
Yeah, doubled up.
You guys, pro tip, in your mashed potatoes, when you're making them, I like the box mix, whatever. I know we're on a tangent, but put cream cheese in your mashed potatoes when you make them. You won't be sorry.
And if you put the chive cream cheese in, now you're talking.
I ate all the chive cream cheese in one day and he got really mad at me. Anywho's, welcome. We're going to talk about Top Chef. We're going to talk about episode 4. We have a non-baker's dozen. We have 12 contestants left. See, because baker's dozen's 13.
Yeah, so this is an actual dozen?
It's like a donut dozen.
This is like a bagel dozen.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, it's that. We have 12 chef testants left in this rollicking competition. So we started with a colorful quickfire featuring the human rainbow named Kelly Clarkson. And then the chefs do what all bougie Angelenos do, and ourselves included, on a Sunday morning. They head over to a farmer's market to cook up a vegetarian feast for a bunch of normies and, of course, our beloved head judges. Who will butternut squash up the judges to make sure they get victory? And who will never go on a trip to Belgium again because she hates Brussels? Buckle up. Let's find out.
Let's find out indeed.
Let's find out.
Before we get started, we're just going to open our wine. Tonight we're drinking a Pinot Noir from
mystery wine.
We don't know where it came from, but
someone left it at our house.
Thank you. We're enjoying it, we assume.
You know the app Vivino, where you can take a picture of a bottle of wine and it tells you how much it's worth? He's addicted to it. This is actually nice wine. It tells you how much it's worth, where to buy it. Our producer just told us about a 5-cent Bevmo sale. We're into it. Okay. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen to our podcast. Subscribe on iTunes. Find our podcast. I hope that sound comes through because that was a nice sound.
I think, yeah, it was beautiful. It was a perfect pour, I think.
And again, I know we harp on this. Please give us a thumbs up. We're tender. It's a trying time for everyone. We like a thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. First segment, taste of the episode.
Taste of the episode.
What dish does this episode remind us of and why? Would you like to go?
Sure, I'll start.
Okay.
I was very...
Oh, sorry. Would you like to cheers first?
Yeah, I think we should, to surviving another week of
still a shit show.
Pandemic 2020. We did it.
Thank you.
This week seemed a little bit easier now.
This is the highlight of my week.
Yeah, me too. I look forward to this. I think we have a lot of people who do as well.
Oh, this is nice.
It's very good. It needs to breathe a little.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, give it like 5 minutes. Give it one of these swirls. You can see on camera one of those
people
swirls.
on radio enjoy the swirling. Yeah. Can't hear it, can't see it.
It's silent, but really good. Anyway, gazpacho. I'm going to go with gazpacho. I was really proud of this.
Gazpacho.
I won't say who came up with this. She did. But I added a little bit of color. Why does it remind me of gazpacho? 1, very vibrant.
Okay.
The colors can be very bright. You can actually do different colors. You use a yellow tomato, you get a yellow gazpacho. You use a nice bright red tomato, you get a red gazpacho. You mix them, you get orange. Reminded me of the Quickfire.
That's good.
Gazpacho is also vegetarian. Reminded me of the
Elimination Challenge.
The Elimination Challenge. And lastly, gazpacho, it doesn't actually taste very good, at least to me.
I love gazpacho.
For those of you who like it, chilled soup, which is weird, but there was a little bit of chill at the end of the episode. Some contestants throwing others under the bus. So this really was the perfect trifecta.
Shade was thrown. Yeah. Chili. It was a good answer because I made it up. Just kidding. You really did put nice color on it.
Thank you.
Like the challenge. My answer was a smoothie because there's a lot of fresh items thrown into it, but then it all just got blended together. Sometimes smoothies taste good. Sometimes you throw in some things, maybe they don't quite work. I think that the Elimination Challenge felt a bit of a stretch, but that's okay.
I think we actually
we've had a lot of these. Sorry, not the Elimination Challenge. Sorry, the Quickfire.
Sure, the Quickfire
I feel like they all feel like this right now. Like run to a table and smash into each other. Whatever. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this.
This is what happens with the show that runs 17 seasons. You start running out of good ideas.
I agree. Sorry, the title of the episode was You're So Fresh. And viewers, y'all so fresh too. When you talk about a show that's been on for a long time and, running into problems, especially in like production or, just kind of falling into the same trap, it would be so nice if we had some TV, reality TV experts,
Gurus, maybe?
who have worked on multiple food shows.
I mean, that would be great. Where would
to
we
join
find
us
people
tonight.
like that? I don't know.
Luckily for y'all, we do have some. Katie and Alden, superstar producers, editors extraordinaire, are joining us live very late from Brooklyn, from their beautiful home in Brooklyn, where their children are also asleep, for much longer than ours have been. So
They'll be getting up soon.
Oh, that's true. That's really shitty. That's true.
Yeah,
That's a
sorry.
good way of listening here. Let me just toot your guys' horn real quick. And first of all, welcome to the show and thank you.
Thank you guys for
Cheers
having
if you
us.
guys have any bevs happening.
Oh, we do.
Thanks.
They do.
Oh,
Thank
we
you,
have
guys.
fancy
Yeah,
cocktails.
they've gone
Oh,
to
you
the
guys,
we
straight
miss
to the
you.
hot
Cheers.
alcohol.
We miss you
Cheers.
too. From one coast to the next.
What I'm saying, we're coast to coast. Now, to get the paperwork out of the way, Katie's a producer of 6 different food shows under her belt, including Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay. And Alden is a talented editor who has worked on shows like Ink Masters, Mystery Museum, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and an upcoming Disney Plus show that we can't talk about, or the ghost of Walt Disney will hunt us all down. Most importantly,
Yeah,
besides
he
that
will.
these people
Yes.
actually know their shit about food shows, and I said shit,
Yes.
is they are long.
Oh, that's
Okay, okay. They are longtime friends who are also sometimes once every year or so are nemesis because
Interesting.
they are our ultimate Top Chef Fantasy League competitors. Let's just get into it, guys. Do you know off the top of your head which couple has won more? Because I actually don't.
Us.
Okay.
No, well,
Wow.
I will say this: we've
Wow.
changed up the format over time.
We've done it how
So
many?
we-
Like at least 5+ years.
Yeah, but there's been individuals where the 4 of us competed individually, and we've also
Oh, we
competed
did?
as teams.
Oh, I thought we always did.
Yeah. And individuals was better, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Really?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, well, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of, we're going to talk about the quickfire. That's why you guys are joining us, but we're also
Yeah.
going to set up your recurrence on our show because
Ooh.
of factors that are going on.
Ooh.
And I've already told our audience,
Which our
this.
loyal listeners know.
Yes.
Well,
I will be on episode 7, it seems, because next 2 episodes we know what they are already, and they're not Mom's Gone Wild at Camp, which is my episode. I don't know if that's what they're going to really call it. It's just a suggestion. But because of that, we didn't start our fantasy league at the beginning of the season like we usually would have. So we're going to start our fantasy league on, we'll call it my episode, because
Yeah.
there will be, I want to say, coming out of that episode, there should be, I think, 7 chefs left.
we've gone.
I have
Yeah,
to
we
look at
can't
the list
remember
again
of the
because
list.
I
I
can,
feel like there was as many as 10, but we know that maybe there was 9. We'll see in a couple weeks.
1,
9 would be better because when we go home, we'd
2,
have an even
3,
number.
4,
I will hold my breath.
5,
Yeah, I think there's at least
6,
9 or 10.
7.
It's going to be 9 or 10.
Right.
Yeah, it's 7, I think.
Okay.
We're gonna let
We'll
someone
cut the
do
fat. We'll get rid of the, the
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
ones.
Like
Exactly.
malarkey.
But if you want to do, I was thinking we they just showed their hand. They said we'll get rid of the bad ones, like malarkey. Did you
Yeah,
hear
like,
that?
exactly.
Well, I was gonna say,
No, just
or are you messing with us? This is how they get in your heads, you guys.
no.
The point is, we will
Stay
resume our
sharp.
fantasy league, and we'll decide if we want to do it individually. We each get.
Well,
one
then we
and
would
a
only
half
get
chefs.
2. We would only get 2.
That's
so
good. You can really go all in.
Interesting.
Well, if there's a lot of people playing, then couples works.
Right.
But if it's like,
Yeah, if you bring in more couples into the fold.
So let's okay. Before we get into the specific quick fire of this challenge, just give me the short version of where are you guys at with the season this far? What do you think? This is our second All-Star season that we have known each other. Like,
True.
what do you
But-
think about that we've known?
Yeah.
I think so far, I mean, out of the gate, there's a lot of strong competitors going on, and then there's some people that are, floundering, who are still around.
Seafood pun. I know where you're going with that one.
Yeah.
So
Is
what do
that
you
a
think
shot
is
at malarkey?
what do you think as far as like structure of the season? Like not too much inside baseball, but like are you it's early still. It's episode 4. There's a
Right.
ton of chefs still. Like, is it what you think it would be? Like, are things heating up the way you think? Do you think so? There's 2 parts to this question. As a viewer, how do you think it is? And then as a producer, do you see what they're doing with like setting up villains, setting up people who peak too early? Like,
I mean, I think that the beginning of the season is always a slow burn. It's
Yeah.
hard to like build it up, but you want to, like churn the waters.
Yeah.
So I do wish it was a bit fiery. I think
Yeah.
that this
that's
week,
what I've been saying.
we saw Tom kind of like try and like raise
Oh yeah.
that a
Mhm.
little. But yeah, I mean, I could see a bit more fire. I'm really annoyed with people like pulling out the ceviche.
I know.
Oh, Like, come on.
Are you anti-hummus?
Ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be.
That was like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, there's got to be a rule for the All Stars that you have to do something that the average person who's never cooked before can do by putting up a recipe on the internet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
What do you think about the mix of chefs in terms of like, is it any of your, and this is not me mining for who you'd want to, draft, but like, is it any of your favorites?
Yes.
Yes.
I do have some strong favorites.
There are some strong favorites in the
Is
mix.
there anyone who surprised you, like, because of the time that has passed? Like, I did not remember Malarkey at all. What season was he?
He was.
No, I don't even remember.
He was like
I didn't remember Lisa until one of
those two.
I vaguely remember Lisa, but mostly because of who she was competing against in her season.
Right.
No, I do remember her, and it was annoying because even at the time they were setting her up as being not that good, and you kept on saying, "How is she
She's
here?
surprised
How
that
is
she's
she
in the
here?"
finals.
Because they always do that every season with one judge, that they surprise you that all of a sudden they have this turn where they sort of are not that good.
Yeah,
and then
It has to be really nuanced.
Oh, we loved
when
it.
they do that.
Right.
It's like Game of Thrones. You can't just fucking just
Yeah.
flip the script.
It's true. It's true. So let's talk about this quickfire. Let's talk about obviously the human rainbow that is Kelly Clarkson.
Mhm.
And then also coming from the other side of producing TV, like there's a plug and then there's like an aggressive integration.
Totally knew we needed to talk about this, but
Yeah,
there's
And
a
this
payoff.
is coming from someone who loves the first
That's
Trolls movie.
true.
Delightful.
Well, these people they're also
Yeah.
invested.
We've seen it many times. We live with a 3-year-old.
But
you can't escape it.
super invested because we're staying up late tonight.
Mhm.
And tomorrow, when we're tired, we are actually going to watch Trolls 2.
So we
You
can
know,
get
so
the
we can
extra
sleep
sleep
in.
time.
Yes,
On no specific timeline.
this episode is also brought to everyone by Trolls 2
Yeah.
World Tour.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Yeah.
and you're welcome, America. Because of that,
Entertaining your kids and letting your parents sleep a little.
and isn't it sad that the prize was going to the premiere that never happened? Poor Jeffrey. No premiere happened. That one of the Quickfire prize was going to the premiere.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yes, which was supposed to be today. Well, the premiere would have been last week. The
Yeah.
movie was supposed to come out today.
Yeah. Eek. Okay.
Right.
Anywho,
So what
Yeah,
did you think about the actual quickfire with the color? I like the idea of color, but I feel like, and this is where you tell me, coming as a food producer, like, and I know Chop does this too, where like you have to do weird things to see what kind of, so you're not doing the same thing over and over, but like, I feel like we just had a quickfire that had weird ingredients, like do something with them. And I feel like this was kind of the same. Like last week.
or you could either be lazy and take things that clearly went together and make it, sort of make it easy. Like, Eric, who was one of our favorites, just took multiple colored bell peppers.
Right.
So that was like a cheat.
That's true.
Or you end up with ingredients that don't go together. It's like one or the other.
What did you think about the dishes?
The dishes were varied. I mean, some people really
Yes.
succeeded, and I think that goes back to something that you've mentioned before. It's like if you have something you're good at, you can pull
Yes.
to like any idea and kind of like make it happen. There were some really great ideas that maybe didn't get executed the way that
Right.
like you
Talking about dry purple
I mean, the
gnocchi.
potatoes were dry. What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, from a purely like also like visual aesthetic, like I think a lot of the dishes were very pretty, and then some of them looked like troll massacres, like Eric's looked like they all got murdered.
by the
What
Bergen.
was that?
Bergen.
We didn't
What
talk
even
about
was it?
that.
I don't know what it was.
He made a salad.
I mean, without being able to taste the dishes, it's hard to like really
But some of
judge
them-
but purely on aesthetic appeal. Some of them were great, and some of them were.
I'm very, very hung up on, the recreations of the food, which, and you know this way better than me. I don't know how they did it on Chopped when you do the close-ups of the food. Would you have a food artist over there actually making it, or was it actually what they were?
No, what you need to do is you make like multiple plates, and so
Okay.
there's one just for the camera. So you
Okay.
have your up close camera plate, and then you have one that you serve to the judges.
How much like love does it get though? Does someone zhuzh it up, or is it
Exactly the
just
same.
Oh,
No,
really?
like the food producer can't touch it. The only
really?
time the only time a food producer would touch it is if, and this is like scandalous, but if something like, let's say I as a food producer took a plate off of your station,
Yeah.
and something happened, like, and I'd have to like make it look better.
You
I
see
can't I can't recreate a dish.
Yeah.
Is that like false advertising thing? So you have to? So all shows across the border like that? Or is that just Chopped?
most shows that I've worked on where it's like you have your camera piece and then you have your judges. And it's just that sometimes there's interview flukes where the people sitting down that are being, interviewed for the show are like, well, I had to make 5 plates, and you're like, 4 plates.
Oh my God. Well, whoever did Jeffrey's, sorry, who's Jeffrey? Whoever did Gregory's, I don't know what happened, because it looked like he made a very nice soup when he served it to the goddess, who was Kelly.
Yes.
With Padma. And then the insert shot was like
what is
hollandaise.
that? Yeah,
it was like
weird,
loose
thick,
hollandaise.
Talk about viscousy.
It was disgusting.
That was the usual word Padma.
So there's a reason for that.
Why?
Because you don't think about the time where you say cut and all the hands go up, and then when they reset all the shots and they bring in Kelly Clarkson, it could be a good amount of time.
It sat for a long time. It congealed.
So the soup congealed.
It was congealed.
It looks like it crept up to itself. Okay, well, here's what it was, because obviously we're not talking
Kelly
about
needs more than one take.
We're gonna talk about
we
that.
love her. She's our
Gregory
favorite.
was the winner. He made a butternut squash and plantain soup with pickled apple, figs, blueberry, and Fresno chilies. Sounds like a lot of hot mess, but also sounds delicious because Gregory can do no wrong, basically. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, I agree.
No, those things sound like they go really well together. I don't have any hesitation.
What's a Fresno chili level of
adds heat?
More
than
medium hot. Yeah, it's like
not like
a little bit of
like habanero.
Yeah.
Blueberries though? Would that be weird?
So once upon a time, I'd heard of a margarita recipe with chilies and blueberries, and
they would just a little sweetness, but blueberries don't taste like much. In a dish, it's just the sweetness and color.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question that kind of plays into the quickfire, but also plays into the episode at large. And this happened right after the quickfire. We got that moment of them at the house. I know I'm getting out of the quickfire zone, and we said we'd only talk about quickfire, but I have you here, so I want to ask you this. This is now the second episode where there's been a moment where it's about the girls versus boys. And it's about how the girls are quiet and the boys are cocky and the girls are silent assassins. Right. From a producer standpoint, what are they trying to tell us? Are they setting up for 3 top women? Because that's what I smell. I have no information about this. Why are they hitting that note twice in 2 episodes?
So for me, as like a producer, house reality is sometimes like some of the most like painful stuff to produce. Yeah, because it's like there's not a lot that happens. Like the people, the competitors are tired and they don't want to talk to you or like whatever. So it's like you kind of just reach for whatever story or cuteness you can put together.
So you think maybe it's not a grand plan?
It could very well have nothing to do with anything. They're just flailing for the story.
Like girl versus boys restaurant wars.
Yeah. Oh, that would be good. Has that ever happened?
No.
But I'd be curious to see that. That's a great idea.
I know Bravo people and the elves. We can all.
People are just people.
People are just people.
I'm a feminist, and what that means is people are people.
Let's talk quickly. We're gonna let you go pretty soon, but let's talk quickly about Kelly Clarkson and her judging style.
Delightful.
She doesn't want to judge. She's just
I mean, she's very delightful. She's very, very funny too. I found her very funny.
She's like the opposite of Naomi Campbell.
And Padma Lakshmi.
So I'm going to preface this by saying she is actually literally one of my favorite people. Like I actually genuinely love everything about her. She's delightful. I will say this, and this might be a little bit rude. I don't think that she has been exposed to a lot of really good food. And so I think
we're friends with her.
Really. I know, but for example, I think that when she was ripping on Voltaggio's shrimp and saying
that was the best moment of the
quickfire. Yes. It was probably perfectly cooked, but she's probably used to cook shrimp.
The cut to Brian's face, his reaction was like.
For a second, I was like, was that a reuse shot from somewhere else? And then I realized, no, they just happened to be on him. It was perfect.
Like, really, me? Brian Voltaggio? Me?
Yeah, he literally was like waiting for.
You don't like me?
But that was my aha moment. I was like, she's never actually had well-cooked shrimp before.
We love Kelly Clarkson, and we've been to her show multiple times. We know all of the show producers. We won't say anything bad about Kelly Clarkson.
She's just a different palette. I love her. You know this. We listen to her music all the time.
Literally all the time. Yeah, she's almost too nice to be judged. Like Randall and Allie last episode were like getting into it. Also because it was like, that was a dish they understand. They have a lot of things to say about it. But like, I feel like she was just like, I'm here to plug trolls and they told me to. I love free food. I love fancy chefs. This is great for me. Like she was having a great time.
Yeah, she wasn't in it for
I mean, she literally said, I love having fancy chefs cook for me.
Right. You have the best job, Padma.
Life's nice. Oh, Padma. So let's keep you here for a second when we talk about we have a segment called Padmatude, which is just funny things she says, and a lot of them came out in the Quickfire. This is gnocchi was a choice one. Also, is it pronounced gnocchi? Gnocchi. Gnocchi. How do you say it?
Gnocchi.
I say gnocchi.
No one says gnocchi.
No one says gnocchi, but wasn't that Nini saying that, or was that Padma saying that?
I mean, it was also stressed by a very well-timed cymbal hit.
Editing. I do think the editors are more comedic.
Totally making a dig.
Don't you think? I feel like the cues are more comedic. The last episode with Randall and Allie was really like comedically edited. They just like let things breathe. I thought it was good. And then Padma 2, number 2, picking up Stephanie's. You knew it was she was going for her. I think she hates Stephanie. So that's just she picks someone she hates and she picks someone she loves. And she goes, I mean, should I it's in her hands. Should I use my feet?
Yeah.
And then she had to like ram
How
into
do you
her.
eat this wrapped thing?
The wrapping wasn't tight enough. I just had to like
she couldn't if the chef wasn't there under normal circumstances, she wouldn't have been able to figure it out.
Do I dip it in the sauce?
It just, I mean, yeah, it was bad. So Gregory won immunity. He won the Trolls World premiere, and it leads us to, we like to do a segment, it's a thing called The Best Pairing. And who's the best pairing of this episode? Did you know that Gregory and Nini are like besties now or something? Like he said he won and he was going to take her to the premiere with him.
But then when we rewound, the integration line was him saying, hey, what about this thing? And she's like, if you win, you can take me. And he remembered that he said that. Or someone told him he said that.
I feel like Gregory's a weird bird.
Yeah, I think that they would be. I think Nini would be friends with anyone. Like she's probably the easiest person to be friends with.
Pretty sure Nini would be friends with literally anyone.
Because she's like a little bit weird. She's
I think she's awesome.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying she's awesome. I think she would be friends with anyone because she's just like endearing.
She does play the like, not the woe is me. She plays the like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I got here.
Oh, the ingenue?
Yeah.
Yes. They're like, oh,
yes. Like everybody else has a restaurant. I don't. I'm just so happy to be here.
I just can't believe I'm here. We're gonna say goodbye to you, but we want to just on a parting note. What do you think is going to happen when we go to do our draft? Like, do you have people that you would like throw down for, and do you know who each other would pick? Don't have to tell me. Just wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely have our lists.
I mean, I think it would be difficult to like.
Have we shown our list to each other? No. Have we copped a look? Maybe.
Have we copped a feel?
I mean, we're married and it's quarantine time, so what are we gonna do?
I mean, there's 4 walls and not a lot of place to hide. So
I just realized my last question. From a person who has worked on many food shows, what do you think is the hardest thing being a contestant on a food show? Like, what's the hardest challenge?
It's exhausting. Like you really have to like know yourself and like know how to zen out when everyone else is going crazy around you. So I think that like people can like put on their phones and like kind of just like close their eyes and like mummify.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe that's like an edge. Like I just like really respect a person who can like go off for like 5 minutes and like you don't necessarily see that on the show, but like someone who looks like they can chill out.
Who do you think in this crowd are some people like that?
So someone who can like go with the flow, that gives you an advantage.
We're not going to give you any people that you can like.
Who she thinks is good.
That's part of.
Don't give them any fodder to use for their own.
I know.
Fine. Okay. On that note, we love you very much. We're very pleased.
Yes, we do. We miss you guys.
We do miss you. New York misses you.
Guys, we're gonna see you in like 3 episodes when we do our
perfect
draft, and we just throw down like. And thank you for staying up late for us.
Yes, we're gonna go pass out now.
Please, goodbye. Talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, we are going to move on to the main course, the main challenge, the elimination challenge of love and victory and who and what, which is Santa Monica Farmers Market, and we divide into teams. Blue versus red, which I guess I had to do teams. It just seems like
Yeah.
I thought it was 2 teams, not 4. I can't keep track of the 4
No,
teams.
the 4 is too much. And
Yeah.
it usually makes like for a complicated judging situation. And this is better too. It's very easy to keep track of, you know, who your teams are.
So
totally fine.
Blue versus red, Malarkey immediately says, I think the other team is really stacked, and he's so jealous. And what was the actual, what did they have to do? What was the elimination challenge?
So the elimination challenge was they were creating a vegetarian feast.
They were here for it. This is literally, I said this last episode, this is my favorite episode. There's Kelly Clarkson and vegetarian food. Sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, this was literally perfect in that regard. So they went off to the Santa Monica farmers market, which was maybe one of the premier
very big
farmers
markets
in the
go
country.
To Hollywood. It's big.
You know, California, for those of you who are watching other places, is the breadbasket of the country. We do provide most of the not most, but a large part of the produce for the whole country.
Correct.
So Santa Monica farmers market is one of the biggest in Los Angeles. So it's huge. It's a big deal. It's like Union Square in New York, and they sent each team had six judges, $1,200, and they each had to create a progressive.
Yep. Which what does that
vegetarian.
Mean? What does a progressive mean?
So progressive just means that it builds. Okay. So there's
this is where people got tripped up.
In theory, there should be a through line somehow, and that might just be the way in which it builds. Okay. From like sort of like raw and simple to more complex and fuller dishes. There can be a through line. It can,
there wasn't like no one did like they didn't. Neither team I don't feel like really did a theme or like
there wasn't a theme per se, but sometimes things just make sense. Yeah. And sometimes you can't even like necessarily explain why it makes sense. You just like intuitively get it. Yeah. And we'll get to who the winner was, but they seem to have done a better job in intuitively putting a menu together. Which team? That was the blue team. Correct. They did a bang up job. I don't think they had a bad dish.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing.
They really nailed it.
And then they went to cook at a Michelin star vegetarian restaurant, which I feel like a dum-dum that I didn't know about, called Birdie G's, which we will be, one, hoping survives the pandemic, and 2, we will be going there. Yes. Are you scared?
No, I'm not scared at all.
Dave doesn't like fake meat, which is totally valid.
Yeah, if
you're totally fine.
I just want to eat vegetables. Yeah, I don't want to eat things that are meant to be imitation replacements for meat. That's all.
I respect that.
Thank you.
I just am a poor, sad person who grew up having to eat really weird fake meat, and I was the weird kid at school with fake bologna sandwiches that I'd try to trade, and no one would trade, so I just started bringing pasta and being like, "Oh, you don't have pasta? It's very cosmopolitan." Anywho, I will say, after we knew what the elimination was before we went to the farmer's market, I'm on the show, there was one of those personal moments with Karen and her spouse. And I was like, if this is a little, our theory is you get those personal moments when they're either going to win or go home.
Which is weird because she didn't actually do either.
Correct. That's what I was here to say.
That was very unusual. I would actually be curious to send an intern. Because actually, we have a lot of interns working on this podcast now.
They're 3 and 1, and they're asleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have them look back on all the episodes, and when they do those personal, moment sort of storylines, see what percentage of the time do they win, what percentage of the time do they go home, and what percentage of the time are they just another contestant. I think it's very rare that you're just another contestant who gets the personal storyline.
If we haven't talked about this, Dave does market research for a living, so that's the way his brain works. We'll get the interns right on top of that, Rose. They're right on top of that.
I do think Lumiere candle.
But think about what Katie just said. I think it's also you're scraping sometimes for house stuff, and you need a house moment. So maybe that's it because it had a Kelly Clarkson joke in it.
Oh yeah, there was an awkward yet funny moment.
It just ended weird. They didn't have the footage they needed to end the scene.
Correct. So yeah, for those you've all seen it, I'm not going to go into it. I did one of these for those of you who are listening.
So we're going to do our in or out challenge of, are you in or out about what this challenge is? Cook a vegetarian feast, meaning go to the farmer's market. You're not going to know what you get ahead of time, which did not work out for Brian Voltaggio. Brian Voltaggio likes a plan. The plan was mushrooms. The mushroom guy was not there.
I will tell you this, in my experience, mushroom guys are flaky.
Okay, what are you talking about? Wait, we don't have a mushroom guy.
But we did at our old farmer's market, and he was only there 30 to 50% of the time.
Did we buy mushrooms from him?
Where
did he stand?
We're
gonna get in trouble from our producer. This is a tangent.
He was next to the compost guy and the guy that took donations.
Oh yeah.
He was just over.
I don't like mushrooms. Part of being a vegetarian, growing up vegetarian, means I was forced to eat mushrooms literally at every guest house I've ever been to, and every cookout I ever cook out.
Every wedding.
Barbecue and wedding.
To this day.
They'd be like, "Oh, we got you a portobello burger," and I'd be like, "No, thank you." So that's a wrap. Okay. Dishes. Let's talk about who cooked what. I didn't put these in the right order. That's all right. No,
but for the record, I'm in on this challenge.
Me too.
Because I think that no matter what your what your strength is and what your cooking style is. Anyone should be able to cook vegetables well. That's just very important across the board. And one of the worst things you can do is go to a restaurant and get like a soggy plate of broccoli.
I agree.
Or like, it's just so depressing.
And it's what they talked about too with the cuts and the love and knowing how to work with the vegetable.
I enjoyed this challenge a lot.
Do you, I just forgot my question. Nope, forgot. It's gone out of my head. Oh yeah, not, but it was, I don't remember. I had a specific question about vegetables.
Sure, if it comes back to you, I'll be here.
Got it.
I'm literally will be here for, okay.
We can't talk about how long, a long time. Has there ever been in your mind that you can remember, and I could have done my homework, but who's got the time? We work 2 full-time jobs and have small kids. Do you remember ever a full vegetarian elimination challenge? This can't be season 17.
So here's what I'm going to say. I don't remember off the top of my head, but if I had a bet, I'd say yes, they've done it before. Yeah, they've done it.
I mean, they have to have.
Yeah, they have.
But to be a professional chef,
I think it was season 11 or 10?
I feel like you're messing around.
Yeah,
you're lying right now. Okay, I know. I'm better at knowing. To be a professional chef, truly, you have to be an omnivore. Like when I was like, I'm over Hollywood for like a hot minute in my early 20s, I was like, I'm over it. And I was like, I'm going to go to the Cordon Bleu. And I was like, oh, I can't cook meat. I can go to the Pastry Chef's Academy. $30,000.
Yes, you can.
A long time ago, I couldn't pay for that.
Yes, you have to be an omnivore in the sense that you will at least eat it. Unless you actually own a vegetarian restaurant. Like then.
But then do you think other chefs don't take you seriously?
Not if you do it well.
No, we're not. Okay. In no particular order. I could try to go in an order. Oh, I got it. We can go in the order. We can go head to head. Got it. Really quick though, new segment I just invented earlier today called Best Chef Hat. Which chef had the best hat? There's only one, because he's an idiot who wears a homage to Newsies. His name is Malarkey. His Newsy homage hat. Well, Governor, would you like to buy a paper? 5 cents?
If you, like, I don't currently own one of those hats. If I wanted to.
We all did at one point.
In 2020, would I be able to purchase one?
Yes, at Gorin Brothers.
They sell hats like that?
But that's actually, you're leading me to one of my segments, but we'll just get rid of it now. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to keep it for later.
Hang in there.
I have a segment for later. It's a quickie. Okay. Really quick also, I don't know, like I feel bad making fun of Jen because remember last time she couldn't pronounce neoclassicism? She literally lost her mind about her sauce. And then it seemed like it was fine. She lost her damn mind.
I get it.
You know when you burn a cashew? Yeah, it's frustrating.
It was on a low simmer and it went to high, and it seemed as if Eric was there to sabotage her because probably she's annoying.
I also thought that.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. I turned it up or down. I don't remember. Fire?
I would say in 17 seasons, he is among a handful of the people that seem like the most genuinely nice people. Would it not be amazing if he was sabotaging all of the chefs by changing their temperatures and stuff?
Is this like Top Chef, like behind the music after dark?
It would break my heart because he is like, I truly believe he is so nice.
I am going to share this with, I think there's 3 people watching live and we're one of them. So of all of our close friends and the producer, Brianna, thank you. New idea. So you know how Unreal is like a scripted show about The Bachelor? There's got to be, do a scripted one about being on a cooking competition. There's such good stuff. Such good stuff.
I'm into it. I'll watch it.
Me, you, and John Favreau will direct. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, he's
the guest judge was a man named Jeremy, who to our very light recon called We Watched a Show While a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old screamed the whole time in front of us. We believe him to own Birdie G's, which is the restaurant.
Yeah, he's the chef and owner. I know that actually definitively. I didn't have to do any research.
You did?
It's said in the Chiron.
I couldn't find his Chiron. Guys, barely holding it together. Anywho, so it wasn't a head-to-head competition, but it was a head-to-head. Well, we disagree on this.
Yeah, we disagree on this.
There is no world. So what they did is they had each, why are my hands so red, guys? I'm clear. They had each of the contestants, from each team, one from blue and red, go at the same time with the same sort of dish-ish, like in the same order to a degree.
Yeah.
Sure, it's not a head-to-head where you're picking a winner out of each heat, basically, but there is no way that, because they could have done all of the blue team and then all of the red team. That was a choice. And I think that you inevitably as a chef, as a judge, compare against the other dish. You just do. There's no, subconsciously.
So to me,
you'll remember this one was better.
Yeah, everybody's different, but to me, I can go to a restaurant and try many different things, and I can compare all of them, and I can remember what bites of food were delicious and what bites disappointed me. And we always recap a meal.
Yeah.
And we go out and we had like 5 or 6 different things. We had a couple of snack bites. And
but I'm talking about the head-to-head part, like the timing.
I know. But it doesn't matter because to me, it's like, what was your favorite part of the meal? I can easily point to my favorite dish, regardless of the order.
Dave remembers every dish we've ever ordered at any restaurant we've ever been to. I feel like I've said this before, but I feel like it bears repeating.
And I remember the ones that I didn't care for. It doesn't matter if they came out together or they were paired together
This
or
is
anything
an agree to
else.
disagree.
Yeah.
We can move on.
I'm fine.
Not to
with
cut
that.
it off, just like.
Yeah. Well, we're going to work this out off camera.
Guys, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're only together just ourselves 24/7, so it's fine.
Minus the 4 hours we sleep.
Dudes. So first up, Malarkey versus Kevin. I must give a special shout out to Tom's withering Whitewalker stare when Malarkey presented what was basically a caprese. Thank you. A caprese salad.
I mean,
Didn't go good for him.
It's so amazing.
You're welcome, Governor.
When you
crack myself up. I did a little tip of the page more to ya.
When you are the most over the top judge.
Got you. Yes.
When you're the most over the top judge and they tell you to edit yourself, it doesn't mean boil a pot of water and throw some pasta in there. It means, maybe
you think this is him overreacting to editing himself?
Overreacting to editing himself. It means take out 1 or 2 of those ingredients that you would just put in there for like novelty factor.
Also, Kevin's was also tomatoes. So he was up against better tomatoes. That plays
he
into
did
it.
Simple, but it was still
Kevin
original.
Did tomato and melon, and yeah.
And he threw on the figs. It was either figs or dates.
We got a jam. We need a jam for this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just telling you. Leanne versus Melissa. We'll get to Melissa.
Just know Melissa is a goddess.
Perfection.
Leanne is struggling in this competition. I think that's
butternut squash hummus crudité. But she was middle. She was not bottom because she did excellent work with the veggies.
It was under seasoned, but it was Malarkey's fault.
Well, we're going to get into that too, so that's why we're skipping through this one. Lisa versus Karen. They both got a lot of questions about the cooking and temperature. Got a lot of judge questions. So Lisa, we'll talk about later. Karen, delicious. That pasta,
so that's one of the things sometimes is that they adored that dish.
We're not really playing nom or not, but like I can just do a blanket nom. This is
we wanted to eat the crap out of that dish. And I think they thought that was the one detail that prevented it from being perfect.
Was the heat.
Which is why they were asking her like the temperature of the asparagus.
Yeah.
But otherwise they thought it was a perfect dish. And that's a little tricky with the editing.
And it's also what Katie said. There is a time factor. Actually, that's what I thought Katie was going to say is like, not only, I think exhaustion takes number 1, but I bet number 2 of the hardest thing about being on a competition is the time factor of shooting versus actually cooking. I always think about that.
Totally.
This is the first, we'll just blanket nom or not. I can eat everything in this challenge. It's my dream.
So realistically, you should take this opportunity and say, yes, I need all of it.
The thing that sounded the least interesting to me is the jerk heirloom cauliflower. I love cauliflower.
Yeah, I like spicy food, but to me, the combination of jerk spices tends to overwhelm the dish.
Actually,
so it's not my favorite.
I love Brussels sprouts. I don't like chili soy.
I mean, let's get ahead to the spoilers. And she went home because she couldn't cook Brussels sprouts. So
it's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good. She sort of was like blaming it on like not picking the right ones out of the bin. That's not a technical term, the bin, but whatever. Yeah, it wasn't good.
The hotel.
Stephanie versus Gregory. I feel like Stephanie is back. Her charred cauliflower and grains.
It wowed the judges. I would have definitely eaten that. I don't love cauliflower. We have this problem in our house.
But we eat soup.
Yeah, it's okay. But
I love
she seemed like she did a really good job with it. To me, I would eat it, but I wouldn't dive head first.
She's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Gregory can do no wrong. Roasted veggie dish is what I wrote. That's not exactly correct, but
yeah, but this to me is like the essence of the challenge, which is just doing something very simply, very well, and just nailing something simple and letting the ingredients shine. I would eat the crap out of that. Something he charred some onions and charred some carrots, and I want to eat the crap.
Oh, she said, Gail lost her mind about the carrots.
Yeah.
And then we had Brian versus Jen. Brian's looked good. He didn't smoked beet legumes situation. I thought he was going to cruise ship it up, and it was.
They try to set it up, but he's steady as you go. He is like a cruise ship, nice and steady.
Oh my God,
very slow adjustments.
And then Eric versus
Nene. Weird.
Gail wants to eat Nene's dessert every day. Same. And also we learned on Nene's original season, she's a dessert assassin. She's amazing.
When she had the opportunity to do dessert, she was like the hero for the team.
Did she end up doing dessert at Restaurant Wars when she went home? And there was I think that was also played into it because it was like she does great desserts, but she didn't have the time because she was front of house to do the dessert properly.
I
want to say it was something like that.
That sounds familiar. Anytime the front of house has to also be responsible for dishes, it goes terribly wrong.
So now we get to the whiskiest move segment.
Who
rolled the culinary dice and did the whiskiest flavor combination this week?
Now this could be good, this could be bad. In this case, it was a.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a roll of the dice.
It is a roll of the dice. In this case, I think, and you tell me if you agree, but Eric.
Yep.
With his butternut squash pudding.
Yep. Butternut squash, chocolate, other thing we forget. Delicious.
Intriguing for sure.
There was like, he called the chocolate
whiskey, definitely. I would say it's woey whiskey.
Wow. So we come to elimination time, the dangerous dessert course of our sandwich of meal of this episode. The blue team derp won because they had the best progression and the best dishes.
Yeah, just
those are two separate things they won.
Across the board, they dominated the challenge.
And let's talk about the winner. Who won the challenge?
The winner of the challenge was the blue team.
Yeah, but who
We've
won
already said
the
this,
challenge?
and then the winner was, of course, who we've held back because we love her. Her name is Melissa.
Which is also my middle name. Is it a sign? It's unclear. Coconut corn soup, pickled garlic chives, and puffed grains. Get it to me.
I mean, everything in that dish sounds spot on.
She's a dream. She is what I say, the silent assassin.
Yeah.
Who actually, she's such a silent assassin. She wasn't even in the assassin talking head bit.
Talk about, I mean, I don't know her. I imagine she is that person that she's so cool, calm, and collected.
Being a silent assassin. Wasn't quiet when I was making shooting sounds.
I was trying to wait for you to be off screen, get my sentence in.
If you were a silent assassin, you just like this.
Yeah. She is that person I would imagine without knowing her that can, go home. Everything is zen.
She's who I was thinking about when Kate was saying that.
She is so cool, calm, and collected, and she just doesn't get the competition. It feels like she's not on a competition show. They just, here is your job for the day. Okay, I'm going to go do that. She goes about her business. It doesn't matter that other people are cooking around her.
She just has good vibes.
It's just amazing.
Our other thing we always say is, here's the winner, who's the real winner. And again, we're broken records. Again, she is the real winner. She is. She won the episode.
And Stephanie has come up a lot of times in this.
Yeah.
And she, because she's been, a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And she was back up.
Yeah, she's back up.
Really
she's back on top.
So in that sense, maybe she won, but
we get to the worst. I'm rushing us along. We get to the worst. We like to call this segment the worst pairing because we had the best pairing, which was the Nene and Gregory thing. The worst pairing was the members of Saltgate 2020, and that was Leanne versus Malarkey for not helping her. He helped her plate, and then he didn't put the oil on right and the salt. And then, I mean, it's egregious to be at a chef's table and not only be like, yeah, I helped you, but also I heard your hummus was really bad.
So I think I didn't actually really understand in real time what was happening, but I think what he was saying is, well, no, obviously I salted it perfectly, so that couldn't have been the issue with the dish. It had to be another issue with the dish. In front of the judges, and said, but I heard it was actually quite not well seasoned hummus. So and she was like, but the judges specifically said that it was good. I would have liked if there was a little bit more salt. So it was weird.
Yeah. It was not good.
He tries to throw her under the bus in the first place.
Stew room drama for the first time. I mean, I was also here for the drama.
But it was just barely a taste.
Who was the loser? You discussed already. Who was the actual loser of the episode?
The actual loser was Lisa.
But to me, the loser of the episode was baseball hats, because Malarkey will never wear one. He'll only wear Page Boy Newsies. Thank you. Okay, we got to wrap it up. It's been a wild ride. Thank you for bearing with us for our first guest. Very exciting. Flavor of next week. What does next week hold for us?
What does next week hold for us?
Well,
you have to remind me.
Loved ones come in. Which
my gosh, how
feels
did I
early.
forget? Jesus.
Feels early. That's usually towards the very end. The
so
loved ones come in.
And the loved ones come in. They are served a dish, which I guess is something I guess they haven't made before.
They're at a restaurant.
They're at a restaurant. They order a dish, and then they have to. And this is only the Quickfire. Explain the dish and have their chef relative recreate the dish based on their description.
Which is funny.
That's funny, great. But I do feel like they've done this exact thing before.
Really?
Yeah.
No, they've had them cook where they tell them what to do and they're walking into their recipes, like the reverse of this.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
The elimination challenge, I don't know what happened because we were very busy and caught up with the whole thing that something bad happens with Leanne's mom.
I nearly fainted.
Can this woman get a break?
She can't.
She's pregnant. The thing happened. Too much.
Altitude sickness. Her mom fainting.
It's too much. So obviously we cannot wait with bated breath, which sounds weird, but it's really wet wine breath, guys.
I drank all mine.
Thank you for coming to episode 4 recap. Subscribe to our channel. Please listen to our show. Please give us thumbs up. We love you guys so much. We cannot wait to see you for episode 5. like buckle up. This is really heating up.
Things are starting to happen.
You know when you have the fire and you turn it on, it's on. We're in full simmer.
We're ready to rock and roll.
See you next week, guys.
Stay safe.
Peace. I said peace.
I said stay safe.
I said peace. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.